All right, guys. So, you know what? 2024 has been one of the most trying years in my career.
I've never been someone to march to the beat of everybody else.
Yeah.
I tend to.
As a bodybuilder.
That's a dangerous person when it comes to bodybuilding. But a person's like, you know what? I'll do whatever it takes. I'll chew glass. I'll eat those rocks. I'll do it. I'll run through those brick walls.
And I'm here right now. I'm here right now.
The champ is here. As the #1 bodybuilder in the world, give it up for your new Mr. Olympia.
So if I can make it against all odds, why can't you?
That's what we're talking about.
It's hard to believe, and it's hard to have that mindset to go, you know what, this is mine, I'm going to go take it. It's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You're the biggest guy in the show, you know. You just dominate, man. You look like a statue last night. Mr. Olympia, the big man is back, and the statue's going back to the UK for the first time since Dorian Yates had it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be out there, we're going to be kicking ass, and we're going to be taking names. And believe me, that is my goal. Make a statement that everybody will never soon forget. So we went in straight into the Arnold Classic at the start of the year. And even though the goal was to win the Arnold Classic and retain that title, going up against Mr. Olympia, one of the most fierce competitors in all of the IFBB, and coming second to him, it was never seen in our point, in my circle, as a bad thing or as a negative connotation, because if you were ever going to lose to someone, who better to lose to than one of the most fierce competitors, and Mr. Olympia one as that. So we came off that Olympia Arnold stage, feeling a bit like, we were excited and we were happy about it, but the look we brought wasn't our best look today. The prep didn't go the smoothest way. And there was a lot of things that came into play that prep, and a lot of stresses that came into that prep that sort of set it into sort of a rocky road going forward. So we came off that show knowing that, we have to make some changes. Now, in all my life, since when I started bodybuilding, I've always been a guy where I've just matched my own drum. We've matched our own beat. We like to keep things very simple. I don't get too technical things. I know guys like to get very technical in how they structure things. The more technical things get, the more it drives me nuts, and I'm completely like, look, let me just do me. I train hard, I'm dedicated, I push myself. I don't need to know the ins and outs of what numbers or whatever is saying. I just know if I go in the gym, I'm gonna keep going until my feet hit the ground and my back hits the ground. That's the way I've always trained. That's the way my mindset's always been. I go full hard on everything. Just tell me what I gotta do and I'll do it. So coming off that, it felt like we were trying to get too technical and too involved in, and getting too distant from the way we normally do things. So we decided that, okay, it was time for a change. It was time for us to go back to that and go back to that simplicity that has always worked great for us. So coming off the Arnold stage, this was the decision we made. And so a decision that a lot of people didn't understand. We had a change in approach. We had a change in coaches. And I was trying to revert back to my best self and what I knew I've always worked. So we applied that change. And I think, a lot of people that weren't used to that or seeing me that, people that haven't followed me for a long enough time, they weren't used to that at all. So there was a lot of pushback and blowback from making the decision to say, okay, right, you know what, I'm gonna let my wife coach me from now on. I'm gonna go back to the way I do things from now on. And it felt like, it felt very disappointing. It felt very disappointing because those people that know me for years always knew that, yeah, we know this is what you would thrive at. I live in a little town in the UK, away from everything, quietly, me, my wife, and my dog, and I train hard, and I provide for my family. That's all I've ever done. And when I keep things that simple, the world ain't that big to me. I can focus, I can train, I can work hard for myself. When you open that life for someone like that, you open up the world to them, it becomes a bit too daunting, it becomes a bit too much, it becomes a bit too much pressure. And I really wanted to go back to that this year. So when we made that decision, it wasn't just off the basis of just going at it. It was a very planned out and very thoughtful decision. So to have people that didn't know you come out and had a lot to say, it was a bit sad, man. I just felt like, man, you should have known me better. So we decided to say, look, my wife is coaching me as well. That caused a lot of stir, and a lot of people had a lot of input into that. And they didn't you know, it frustrated me because they didn't even take the time to learn my history or know what I've been about or what I'm all about. And for months, we had to put up with a lot of talking and a lot of backlash. And it was hard for us. It was hard for me, it was hard for my wife, it was hard for my family. But we never wanted to give into it. We went back home, we went back to our quiet place, we went back to our quiet life, and we sat down and we said, you know what? We'll show you. We don't need to say anything, we'll show you the result of what we do. You know, even to the point where the noise was so loud that we felt like it was reaching us back home, and we felt like, okay, maybe we do need some extra help, you know? So we tried, so maybe, you know, if I go to another place, maybe if I go to some other place like Kuwait, they might be able to help out in terms of keeping that quietness. But, you know, I went out there, it was great, it was an amazing place, amazing gym, amazing facility, amazing people. But it was the same thing. I didn't have my quiet peace and settled peace of mind. And it was too much. And I was like, no, this isn't it. I'm much gonna be my own drum, and I'm at my best when I'm at home. So right there, I said, no, I gotta go home. I gotta be at home. I have to see what I'm working for. I have to see the people I'm working for in my face every day to remind me why I'm suffering. I'm gonna do this with us and in our team, with HOSSTILE, you know, with our people. We spoke to our team, we spoke to Fuad, we spoke to all the people that care the most about us, the people that mattered way before anything else going away. And they agreed and they stood by me to make that decision. And that's what we did. And then months of hard work and grinding and pushing and getting back up and knocking ourselves aside. And I can tell you now, I've never trained more aggressively in the gym like I have done this past few months, because I knew we weren't just going up against the competitors on stage, we were going up against the world and breaking that stereotype and that idea of this is the only way you could be Mr. Olympia. This is the only way you can get here. This is the only way you can do things. And I didn't believe that, because I got here by my own side. I got here doing this my way, and I ain't gonna change now. So we trained, we pushed, I trusted my wife, I trusted my team to do what's best. And the result immediately started speaking for myself. Off season, we trained hard. I put on a lot of muscle in a very short time when I was in my peaceful place. We kept the noise out, we focused, the silence fell upon us. We went back into, it felt like the way we used to do things coming up. It felt normal again. It felt like, yeah, this is where I thrive. So the results started happening very quickly. We went into the prep, you know, we coincided, we collaborated with Marriott Health. They made sure that they kept me as healthy as possible and make sure I'm at my best when I can push to my limit without any fear of being ill or drawback or anything of that. And it helped massively. And before you know it, the results were speaking for themselves. And we were blown away by it. You know, my wife Mel, she's always been a strong woman. She's always been supportive of me. She's always known what works for me. Even when I didn't know myself, she's always known. So when she said to me, look, I got you. This is what I need you to do. I had to listen. I had to go back to that place. I had to listen. I had to let her take the rails and say, okay, all right, show me. And the results came in fast. And we've seen that result weeks in, weeks out, weeks in, weeks out. It was happening so fast that we were like, man, you know what? What can we do to really test if this is really great? So a few weeks out from the Olympia, I said, you know what? Should we have a trial run? Should we try something new? Should we do something different? Something that nobody ever done before. Like I've said before, I'm never gonna be a one show a year guy. It just isn't my thing. I love to compete. I love to be on stage. I love bodybuilding. I love that. So I was like, you know what? The show happened 2 weeks away from the Olympia in France. Should we give that a go? Should we go do our thing there? And if anything, it'll be a good insight into where this body is at and what we can do with it. So we made a decision to do that. Once again, the world came into play. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has something to say. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? What is it? And they had a lot to say. And we had to block that out and not respond or even think about it. We thought, no, we're not letting this in anymore. We've done that already. This is about us. This is us doing things our way. So we went to France. We got the win. We had a lot there, a lot of feedback from that point, and we had a lot to go into towards going to Olympia. We came to Vegas 2 weeks later after that. We replicated the idea of me staying quiet, staying at peace, being locked in, very quietly. We replicated what we had at home, and that led to the result of what you see here today. This is the Olympia trophy. This is the standout. This is my standout. This is, right here, is number 19. This is the 60th anniversary of Olympia. This is here right here, one of a kind. And this is so unique that it is one of a kind because I did this my way. This was done our way, the way we chose to do it. And it stands right here as a testimony of what happens when you believe yourself, regardless of anybody else's say, anybody's opinion. Stick to your own beat. You know you more than anybody else does. Stick to what you do, and you'll make things happen. And that's what this testimony of this trophy means.